Hello, folks. Welcome to Let's Get On With It. The Curse of the Creeping Coffin. A choose-your-own-adventure book written by R.L. Stein himself, Grand Lord and Pumbaa and Master and Imperial Wizard of the Goosebumps series. Man who could just churn out a bunch of books to scare the pants off of teenagers at any given moment of his life. Just snap his fingers and BAM! Money! Instantaneous horror story appears. And the Goosebumps books, they're meant to connect with young adults, teenagers, particularly boys, so they have, elements of horror and terror, but they also cater to the silliness of youth. So while there can be some scary moments, it's not like some serious adult, horror shit. Okay? So if you're put off by horror elements, relax, it'll be alright. Curse of the Creeping Coffin, it's fair to say that it does involve undead, which is totally not why I love it at all. I've got a few of these. Just the Curse of the Creeping Coffin's my favorite one. I'm not exactly sure, as of right now, how I want to present this one. Operation Night Flight was presented in a format where I gave you folks like 6 hours to a month to pick your decisions on what you think we should do. I don't know whether... I certainly can't do every page. This book's longer than Operation Night Flight. It comes in at 132 actual book pages, like material pages, stuff pertaining to the story, and I don't think you folks will allow me to upload that many videos without losing your freaking mind. At the same time, I do want to keep some, randomness and elements of humor here, so what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to use my dice. I've collected... This is actually not a lot of dice, but I've collected a good number of dice over the years, since I'm into tabletop gaming. Have been ever since I was 10 years old? Yeah, 10 years old. That's when I was first exposed to Dungeons and Dragons. My brother was in high school, and his DM was at my house, and he said, "What the hell? We got an empty spot, and someone's absent today. Your little brother want to play?" And I was like, "Yeah!" Because I wanted to be a part of the group, and it sounded cool, and it was cool. Let's take out my scry counter. That's what I was messing with earlier. I guess I don't need a serious die for this, though, so I'll pick a D6. D6. Your regular run-of-the-mill die. I guess that's what I'll do. To simulate the randomness of the internet, whenever I get to a decision, I'll just roll for it. And there'll usually be 2 decisions, so we'll say 1 through 3 is the first decision, and 4 through 6 the second decision. Sometimes, though, there are 3 decisions, and then, it's a D6, so it'll work. Better than, say, a D10 will. I got a D100. You want to see my D100? I know, this is totally not pertaining to the book at all. This is my D100. Shake, shake, shake. Shake, shake, shake. Shake your D100. Shake your D100. Yeah, I went there. It's a golf ball, isn't it? It's got a 100 side, so it kind of has to be. Fuck. Where did you go? You were behind the laptop. Hold on. There we go. Right, so this D6 will simulate the randomness of the internet. I will still stop the video before every decision and put you all into suspense, and you folks can keep track of what you think that we should do in your heads. But because I don't know how much free time I'll have in coming days, because I gotta prepare some things for some other stuff that I'm doing, I might just sit down and do this book entirely in one session. Or 2. We'll see. At any rate, here it is. It's all shiny and shit. Woo! Goosebumps, Curse of the Creeping Coffin. Reader beware, you choose the scare. Down there's some crazy shit happening at the bottom, and I'll read the back to you. They're real deadheads. You're off to visit your grandmother, whose house backs up to a graveyard. At first the tombstones seem far away, but every day they move a little closer. Then you discover the headstones are disappearing. But the dead aren't gone. Their ghosts are moving, right into your grandmother's house. If you decide to stay, you must battle a warrior ghost. If you decide to run, One of the kid ghosts follows you home. Will you be haunted for the rest of your life? The choice is yours in this scary Goosebumps adventure that's packed with over 20 super spooky endings. Reader beware, you choose the scare, give yourself goosebumps. Alright, so open up, very first page. Generous enough to inform you, no. Beware, do not read this book from beginning to end. You can't believe it. You stare out the window at the creepy cemetery in your grandmother's backyard. The graves are moving, you're sure of it. Then you turn to see an even more frightening sight. Your grandmother's house is haunted by ghosts. Lots of ghosts. Evil ghosts who want you to join their army. See the world, but you'd rather be sailing. Why are the creeping coffins creeping? Do you stay to find out, or do you race home? Even though a terrifying ghost is waiting for you there too. That's metagaming. What the hell, R.L. Stein? If you stay, you discover that the coffins are spelling a message in the graveyard. A message that spells out your doom. Unless you can find the ghost who is the keeper of the sword, steal the sword, and plunge it into the grave of the MPG. What's an MPG? An MPG? Disapprove. You'll have to find out for yourself, but hurry. The ghosts are moving closer. And closer. You're in control of this scary adventure. You decide what will happen, and how terrifying the scares will be. Start on page 1. Then follow the instructions at the bottom of each page. You make the choices. So take a deep breath. Cross your fingers. And turn to page 1 now to give yourself goosebumps. Can I stop holding my breath now? Fuck it. Alright. I don't know, maybe I shouldn't do a die. You folks came up with some amusing decisions on your own. You know what? This is supposed to be interactive. Forget the dice. Forget everything that I just set up until this point. You all are responsible for choosing what happens, and we'll go through a major path. We'll get through at least to 1 or 2 overarching ending story arc things, and then I'll cover the rest of the book. Maybe. Probably. I reckon. So, Dice Bag, I'm sorry, but, you are the weakest link. Goodbye. It's up to us. We're fucked. I'm bored, you moan. I'm so bored I could eat flies, just to see how they taste. Flies have germs. Excuse me, I need to do some voices. Flies have germs, your grandmother replies. It is a hot, sticky day in the middle of July. You plop down into a creaky old chair in your grandmother's kitchen. Your parents dropped you off yesterday, before they left for their vacation, and already you could die of boredom. Your grandmother's old dog, Sparkle, yawns loudly. He crawls under the table. Moments later, he begins to snore. I know just how you feel, Sparkle, you say. You sigh loudly. Why don't you go outside and find something to do? Your grandmother suggests. She looks up from the pie she's baking and nods toward the backyard. Go out there, you think? Into her backyard? No way! You glance out the window. It's probably 90 degrees in the shade, but you shiver. Your grandmother's house is right in front of an old cemetery. Rows and rows of old crumbling tombstones sit just beyond the edge of her backyard. But that's not what scares you. What scares you is that the tombstones have been moving. Dun, dun, dun. You noticed it right after you arrived yesterday. You saw the tombstones from your bedroom window on the 2nd floor. You could tell some of the graves had cool carvings on them, so you decided to go outside and take a closer look. But when you entered the graveyard, something was different. Strange. Some of the graves were out of place. Nah, it can't be, you told yourself. Graves don't disappear. But still. Take off my glasses. I don't need them for close reading like this. From your bedroom window, you could have sworn there were 6 or 7 graves in the back row. Now there were only 3. Nah, you must have counted wrong. You decided to forget it and went to bed. But when you woke up this morning and glanced out the window, the coffins had moved again. Now there were 10 in the back row, and the middle row seemed more crowded. It almost looked as if some of the graves were moving forward, and some of the graves were moving backward, and there was a big traffic jam in the center. The coffins were rearranging themselves. Great Scott! But how? And why? Your grandmother taps you on the shoulder. She snaps you out of your daydream. Go on, she says. Go play outside. Outside? Out there? You shudder as you glance out the kitchen window again. Oh no, you cried. It disappeared. What's disappeared? That sounds like Deckard Cain, only a female version. Greetings! Stay a while and listen. Hello. What's disappeared? Your grandmother asks. The grave with the angel on it, you screech. Screech? I can't screech. I'm a man. I'm 40. I can't screech. Ah, the grave with the angel on it. You screech, pointing out the window. It's gone. One headstone in particular caught your eye yesterday. It had an angel carving on it. The angel looked so realistic you practically believed it could fly away. Did she? Oh. I thought the book was mixing up pronouns there. Nope, just me. Your grandmother peers out the kitchen window. Don't be a goose, she scolds you. That tombstone is still there. You don't answer her. You can't. Your heart is pounding crazily, and your mouth has gone dry. You bolt out the back door. You've got to see for yourself. But in the graveyard, you discover that your grandmother is right. The tombstone with the angel isn't gone. It just moved. It had been in the last row. Now it's up front. I'm losing my mind, you think. Losing it completely. Or are you? You run back into the house shouting, Grandma, you yell, that grave with the angel on it. Your grandmother interrupts you. You don't have to shout, dear. The angel? She looks up from her pie crust. That's a nice one. Let me see. Who was buried there? Oh, yes. That's Elmira Martin's grave. Before you can explain about the moving gravestones, a voice on the far side of the room makes you jump. The name is Elvira Martin, the voice says sharply, not Elmira. You never could get my name right. Your mouth drops open. The strange woman now stands in the doorway that leads from the kitchen into the hall. A very strange woman, because she isn't a living, breathing woman. She's a ghost. Grandma, you begin. But from the way your granny is humming to herself, you can tell she doesn't hear or see the visitor. And don't you stare at me, you little wretch, the ghost says, pointing at you, or you'll be sorry. I can't take that serious. Or you'll be sorry. What are you going to do? Suddenly you're living in a haunted house. If you run outside, turn to page 18. If you talk to the ghost, turn to page 25. All right, folks, it's decision time. Our first decision. Decision 2012. Do we run outside? Help me, help me. Or do we stay and talk to Elvira Martin?
Vote now!